This is Heidi Lee and JT
Hi.
from So I Married a Record Collector, and we are doing our September and October purchases videos today. And you'll probably see these chopped up into segments because there's quite a lot to get through here, and we don't want to completely overwhelm everybody with a 2-hour video. So we're going to go ahead and go through all of our purchases from September and October. We've got vinyl, we've got CDs, we've got all kinds of stuff. So, John, you want to lead off there?
First up, I have the latest single from one of my favorite garage bands out of the Atlanta area, the Woggles. This is on Wicked Cool, Little Steven Van Zandt's label. The top side is a tribute to their recently departed guitarist Jeff Walls, whose nickname in the band was Fleshhammer. The flip side, rather appropriately since we're filming this on Halloween, is a cover of the Rattles' 1970 single The Witch. Nice hard picture sleeve, and it is on black and orange vinyl.
Pretty.
Love the Woggles. If you get a chance to go see them, go see them. They put on an awesome show, high energy, rock and soul, if you want to call it that. But this is 2022.
Nice. I'm a sucker for colored vinyl. Any of you can say what you want about me. I'm just not one of your cool, super cool people, but I like colored vinyl. This next one we got while we went, I saw on Craigslist that there was somebody who had a massive amount, supposedly a massive amount of records in Onaway, Michigan, which is a couple hours, hour and a half, a couple hours north of where we live. And this group I'd heard a lot of in the 80s and 90s growing up because my mom really loved Phil Collins and had some Genesis albums. But this is quite different from that. What I've heard so far I like. This is Genesis, Trick of the Trade.
Tail.
Trick of the Tail. Thank you. Trick of the Tail with a nice gatefold here. Good player copy. Was Peter Gabriel still in at this point?
I think he may have been gone by then.
Okay. But yeah, it's a good place to start.
Or about to leave.
I don't know, does it say? It's got
he's gone.
These funny names on here, like Squonk.
Yeah, it was
Madman Moon Banks.
Yeah, I think this is the first one with where Gabriel left, because you got Rutherford Banks, Collins.
Oh, there it is. Okay, I see where you're getting that. Rutherford Banks, Collins, and Steve Hackett. So
I think it's the first one without Gabriel. If I'm not up on my Genesis history. I'm curious about a couple of those early records like Trespass and Foxtrot.
Yeah.
But we're not really into them very much, especially when they become pop stars in the 80s. I don't know.
It was a good deal, and the guy that had all the records was somebody that we had seen at record shows before too. So he was a dealer and he knew what he had. So we got a couple things. So
next up for me, we've mentioned we volunteer in radio here in Northern Michigan, and I love radio and I love classic radio, and I have a thing for collecting singles made by radio DJs in the 60s. And this is the second...
Maybe you should make a single.
The second single by this guy who's very famous in Southern California. The Real Don Steele with a strange kind of spoken word piece called Cecil, the Unwanted French Fry on the Patches label. I believe this is from 1970 abouts. The flip side is just an instrumental version. The Real Don Steele, I think he was on a couple stations in Southern California. I don't know if he wasn't on KRLA. I think it was KYA maybe, but you hear his voice in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He appears in Up in Smoke. He did Real Don Steele show in the 70s on a small local station. He was known for shouting loudly, but he had a hearing problem, so he always talked loud and started the high energy Boss Radio thing. But yeah, real interesting. He has one other single on Cameo I have called Tino Delgado Is a Lie, which was his catchphrase, which he never explained what the hell it meant. He'd yell it in the middle of the song. The Real Don Steele, Cecil, the Unwanted French Fry.
Oliver's getting into stuff, so he might. Well, he probably won't make an appearance. He'll probably just shake the camera.
Records.
Ooh, bad cat. Up next for me, another place we like to go to in Northern Michigan is in Charlevoix, Michigan. There is a really cool resale shop called Chill Retro. And they also have a really great, selection of used records and some new records too in the back of the store. They have a lot of really cool, like kitschy, mid-century, even up to the 70s as far as
Toys.
decor and things like that. But we always go up there, at least a couple of times a season and check out their vinyl. And I had to pick this up. It was lonely by itself. The King Slow Budget. Both of us have this album on CD and a few different versions, I guess, releases of the CD. But neither one of us had it on vinyl. So definitely had to pick that up. And my favorites off here are Catch Me Now I'm Falling, Wish I Could Fly Like Superman, Low Budget, Moving Pictures. Yeah, this is a really fun Kinks album from 79?
79. It was
79,
their
I'm right. I'm usually really bad with dates.
I think it hit number 11, so it was like their first top 20 album since 1966 Greatest Hits.
Yeah. My brother will remember this because when we saw Ray Davis in Madison in 2005, I think it was, Ray actually did Low Budget, and he pretty much sang it like right in front of where I was standing there on the stage. And he was, like, excuse my pants, they don't quite fit. And he is, shaking it in front of me. And I was just like, I can't even, I was so embarrassed. I would not be a good groupie because I would just be like, oh my God, So, but it's something I think of when I hear that song.
Next up for me, of course, another single. I already have this album, but I had that little record collector desire to own this on 45. That weird little fetishy thing I've mentioned before. You were like, I need that. But this is the Cowsills on London Records with On My Side, the title track of their final album from about 1971. Great 2.5 minutes of power pop. I remember playing this on our radio show, and our fellow DJ, Professor X, was listening with his daughter, and they were waiting to hear me back announce what it was, and he called me up shocked. He's like, I thought you were going to say that was Badfinger or something.
Oh.
Great Cowsills record. Great on a single. It's written by their guitarist friend Waddy Watchell and somebody named Pulver. Flip side is a Cowsills composition called There Is a Child, which I didn't listen to, so I don't know what it sounds like. But they produced it themselves. It was the album where they kind of matured and became
probably literally
more,
too.
Yeah, literally too. And I think there's one more single after this I'd like to hear called Wagon Wheel, but a great 45. Like I said, I just had that desire to own it as a single, so I picked it up. Really cheap on eBay.
Yeah, you can't understate the Cowsills. They're pretty amazing. And we honestly didn't get into them very much until after we saw them in concert. We went to the Happy Together tour that had made a stop in Manistee, Michigan. And we went there initially for Mark Lindsay and Howard and Mark from the Turtles.
Yes.
And we ended up really loving the Cowsills. I mean, Susan, amazing singers and just really good musicians too. So highly recommended. And up next for me, you might call this a guilty pleasure. Some might, but I'm not ashamed. This is Frida. I believe Anna Frid might be her. I think it's her full name from ABBA. Love ABBA. Saw this at Chill Retro and had to pick it up. This, of course, contains the title track hit, Something's Going On. What a great 80s pop song. And funnily enough, it kind of fits in with all this Genesis stuff because it was written by Phil Collins, which is pretty funny. And she also does songs on the album from Brian Ferry, Russ Ballard, and Rod Argent. So we'll have to see. We'll have to listen to the rest of this.
Said that's his jam.
She can be on the thumbnail with us.
Yeah, Tuco said
yeah, that's awesome. We love watching Tuco. Shout out to him and his record hunting videos. Those are always really fun to watch on the weekends when we are relaxing.
I came across a burning building. I was like,
Well, the horse. I want to know, is the horse okay? That little horse that was falling into the ditch or something.
And the horses
like he couldn't do anything about it. But literally, the horse could have just been chilling. I don't really know much about horses, but at the same time, I'm like, is the horse okay?
I think they lay down in dirt and roll around to cool off.
But it was like early spring. I don't think it would have been that hot.
Yeah, he's got a backlog of videos. Anyway.
Hope the horse is okay, Tuco.
When we were up in Chill Retro, I, of course, picked up a few things. They have a lot of 45s, but not to be a real critical person, but it was kind of a very unorganized mess. And I was digging through, and I found this. This is a British EP on Capitol through EMI UK. 2 stories, Bugs Bunny meets Hiawatha, and Bugs Bunny and the Pirate, featuring Mel Blanc. So it's the original cartoon voices. It's just really cool. You know, people of my generation grew up watching Looney Tunes after school every day, and we kind of continue to quote these cartoons in our daily lives, and younger people look at us like we're mentally ill because they don't know what we're talking about. But this was really neat. British on Capitol through EMI with Mel Blanc. How it ended up in northern Michigan, I don't know. I found British singles in Goodwill up here. And yeah, a really cool thing. I'm a big fan of Looney Tunes.
Great.
I think this is from about late 1950s, if I'm not mistaken. I looked it up on 45 Cat, of course.
Also from Chill Retro, adding to my The Fix collection, I picked this up. This is Shuttered Room, and it has their single Red Skies on it. One thing I did notice, it does have at the bottom right, this little like crossbones and cassette. I don't know if it really comes in well there, but it says, home taping is killing music.
Home cooking is killing the restaurant business.
Yeah. I was like, wow.
A lot of inner sleeves in it.
Don't do it. I think there was a song that Weird Al did in the early 2000s, I believe it was, that I thought was hilarious, called Don't Download This Song. And it's just this like epic about, you know, musician, kind of an eat the rich type of situation, but it's really funny. He's like, you know, this gold plated toilet isn't going to pay for itself.
Next up, also from Chill Retro, I found this. This is the Ray Charles Orchestra on ABC/Tangerine. The A-side is the orchestra covering jazz musician Lee Morgan's The Sidewinder, which you all know and love. But I can't wait to spin the other side and find out what it is, because it's a Ray Charles composition called Booty Butt.
Booty Butt?
Which I believe
like
is...
the Ray Charles?
Yeah.
Or is it like Ray Charles Singer's Ray Charles?
It's the Ray Charles Orchestra, so it's instrumental.
Oh.
He's probably playing organ or piano.
Booty Butt.
I believe this is from circa 1969... 1970.
I've called Oliver that in the past when he's doing something. And again, from Chill Retro, also picked up this record. It's been haunting me for a little while because I had seen it a few different places, and I remember saying, wonder if I should get this, and I never did. But then at Chill Retro, there it was yet again. And they do Bend Me, Shape Me, and they also cover the Monkees. Well, the Monkees originally did it. They also cover Sometime in the Morning, which isn't, you know, my favorite Monkey song, but it would be interesting to hear someone else do it. I love this thing on the back here with the numbers for their heads, so that if some little child or little girl is looking at this album, they can see, oh, I know that guy is Al, and this guy's Gary and Lee and Chuck, so I can know who the boys are that are singing. So the American Breed, Bend Me, Shape Me.
And they also, on a single, did the Monkees track, I Don't Think You Know Me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. Cool. And also, at Chill Retro, there was a dog-choking motherload of Ray Charles singles. And I picked this up, I thought it'd be like a fast-tempo Northern Soul thing, but it's not quite like that. I think I confused it with the Drifters single of the same title. But this is Ray Charles on ABC Paramount with At the Club. It says,
In the Club.
Vocal by Ray Charles and Friends, written by Percy Mayfield. And the flip side is another Percy Mayfield song called Hide Nor Hair. I believe this is early 1960s, maybe the latest 63. Yeah, one of those things I bought and mistakenly thought it'd be a different style, but it's not bad. It's
Took a chance.
R&B soul record. It's Ray Charles. What can you say bad about Ray Charles?
Not much. we occasionally go to our local record store, and they do have a bin of dollar records, stuff that they can't really put out for resale for one reason or another. It doesn't, go up to their standards, which is fine. But I was kind of combing through there, seeing what I can find, and I found this. Marty Balin from Jefferson Airplane, Jefferson Starship fame. I like the song Hearts. It's such a 80s, adult contemporary pop soft rock hit, but there's just something really soothing about it. It's like that yacht rock thing. It's just so smooth. It's just so smooth. So of course for $1, I now have it on vinyl. So
our friend Laura, WMNF Tampa, got to interview him.
She did?
Not long before he died, a year or so, for a couple years
So
before.
cool.
They said he was like slightly autistic. You could tell in his behavior. Next up for me, kind of embarrassed, I went music shopping at FYE. It's not cool to shop in the mall anymore.
I'm the one who wanted to go there and
I
check
know.
it out. And you're
I
like,
find-
oh, you're the one who buys something. I bought nothing.
I'm just fooling. I do find good used CDs there because nowadays these knuckleheads buy CDs, copy it to their computer, and then turn them in. And I found, deluxe editions of,
Home taping is
certain-
killing music.
certain CDs and stuff. But anyway, I didn't know this was out. I guess this was a record store day thing. This is the Ramones live at German television, the music-laden recordings. You've seen these clips all over YouTube. In fact, I have some of them on a CD-R or a CD-ROM in the rack over there, which is pretty useless. You can't use QuickTime anymore.
Oh, jeez.
But
Why are we
this
still doing
also, not as it only the audio of the entire show. I didn't know they did this many songs. There's 12 songs on side
Well,
one.
their songs are like a minute
Yeah,
long, so they
yeah.
can
The only
fit.
clips I've
It
seen
probably goes
released are
even
just a few.
faster live.
But it also comes with a DVD of the show, and I'm
Awesome.
hoping we can play it on our DVD player Blu-ray, because this seems to be made in Germany, and I don't know, that little sticker down there means Europe only. Just like we're having trouble, our latest Kinks box set, the Blu-ray doesn't play, and it's happened to other people. And Dave Davis's girlfriend herself contacted BMG to see what she can do. And I hope it works. Some people are saying it's DVD players or Blu-ray players, but it stinks because that was one of the things we really wanted that box set for. But anyway, yeah, Ramones. This is 1978, September 13th. Look up the clips on YouTube. Awesome stuff. There's the back cover with all the tracks.
He hasn't opened it yet.
I don't know what label this is on, but does it matter? No.
No,
It's
cool.
the Ramones.
It's just cool.
One of my favorite bands.